All right. Good. We've started recording this, so let me just start sharing my screen then, and we start the session. But please, I would like you all to confirm if you can hear me loud and clear in the chat box, please. You can do that so I know that, of course, I'm audible and you can all hear me. Please confirm in the chat box that you can hear me. And you can hear me, you can see me. Okay, loud and clear. Thank you very much, Adalbi. Okay, good. So let's start. And it's a master class where we're all going to be, sharing with one another and having conversations with one another, right? So I would like you all to be prepared. Okay, I can hear you clearly. All right, I would like you all to be prepared to share. So it's not a space where I'm coming as a teacher who's going to be pouring a lot of knowledge on all of you. No, I'm coming in here to facilitate a discussion. So please, if you are on the call this afternoon, please get ready to share, because we are going to be sharing quite a number of times on this call today. So most of the things that we will be talking about today are things that are going to be provided by you and not me pouring out knowledge or dishing out knowledge to you. But before we start, let's do a bit of introduction so that we all can know one another, so that we all can, connect with one another. Like I said at the beginning of the call, if you can turn on your videos, please do that. Let's see you. Let's see your beautiful faces, right? So this is the format of the introduction of yourself in the chat box. So what I want is I want everyone to say their name, what they do, and what they're joining from or where they're joining from. So for example, my name is Oluwaseun Kayode. I work with Schoolinka to design training programs for teachers, and I am joining in from Lagos, Nigeria. So if I'm to introduce that is what I would type in the chat box. So please go ahead right now and introduce yourself in the chat box, your name, what you do, and where you're joining from. So I'm, my eyes are on the chat box and I'm looking for it. All right. I see Ayola Gbemisola. She's an educator from Lagos, or he's an educator from Lagos. I'm not sure the gender, but yes, welcome so much, Gbemisola. Welcome to the masterclass today. All right, let me see others. Okay, I am Kolapo Shukura. I'm a maths educator from Lagos. Kolapo Shukura, welcome to the masterclass today. We're so excited to have you. We have Elvis Azubike. I'm not sure if I pronounced that name correctly. Apologize. He's an educational consultant from Lagos. Thank you so much for joining. We have Salami Ismail, an online instructor from Lagos. Thank you so much, Salami Ismail, for joining the session today. Omolade, we already know you, so welcome, Omolade. Omolade is our learning support associate at Schoolinka. We have Blessing Olatoye, a diction instructor that is joining from Lagos. Thank you so much. I already have 6 introductions already, and I know we are more than 6 on the call. We have 13 people in this conversation. So please, let's keep the introduction coming in. Let's keep the introduction flowing so that we can get to connect with one another and have meaningful discussions today. It's important that when we are in spaces like this, that we learn to introduce ourselves well, because we don't know where opportunities can come out from. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. So it looks like it's only the 5 of us that are willing to introduce ourselves. Oh, we have 16 people now. We have 16 people now. Oh, 17 people. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I need to admit all these people. Let me do that now. Okay. All right, good. So let's just go ahead, trying to admit these people as they come in. Okay, good. Let me see. Okay, there's Adaobi Ugwana. Adaobi, what do you do and where are you joining from? Please let us know that. Okay, I can see Adaobi. She's a TFN fellow from Ogun State. Welcome, Adaobi. Nwaboko Cyril. Apologies if I didn't pronounce that name well as well. Maths and Maths educator. Rainbow College, joining from Lagos. Thank you so much for joining, Wabuko Serial. Good to have you here. Okay, so I think we'll stop the round of introductions now and then just jump into the session proper. So let me just share a bit about myself. My name is Oluwaseun Kayode, and I work with Schoolinka. I started Schoolinka in 2019, and the goal really is to ensure that educators have access to high quality continuous professional development. And what do I mean by that? So simply put it, is that educators have the opportunity to access high quality training. There's a big statistics by UNESCO, which I think I'm going to share at the end of the session. It says that 36% of teachers in Africa are not well trained. And trust me, that's a big problem that we have on our hands. And so the work that we do at Schoolinka is to really break down every barrier to accessing training programs by educators. And we do this by designing high quality learning experiences and then making these high quality learning experiences available to educators, sometimes at no cost. In fact, most of the times at no cost, or for almost free. So we want to ensure that educators, wherever they are, they have access to, learning opportunities. Sorry, just a minute. And just like I said, we started this work in 2019, and it's been impressive so far. We've made a lot of impact. We've reached a lot of educators, over 3,500 educators who are working across schools in Nigeria, even some in Kenya and Uganda. And it's been interesting so far working with these educators, providing them with opportunities to acquire skills that they will take to their classrooms to transform learning. And so this is a work I've given myself to since 2019, even far before then working in education, but actively at Schoolinka since 2019. And I tell you, it's been amazing so far. So that's a bit about me. I'm sorry, what's going on? All right, so that's a bit about me. And let's just go ahead into the session. There's this big quote on my screen that says, if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. This is a quote by John Dewey, and it's a very powerful quote. I love to share it many times. Like I've shared it so many times, and I like to always continue to share it. And I'm sure as you have, read this now, it will have sparked some thoughts in you as well. If we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. So I don't know if there's anyone who would like to unmute themselves and quickly share reflection on this quote. Just by reading this quote now, or just by seeing it on the screen now, what do you think of it? What's your reflection on this quote? Like, what do you really think about this quote? If you would like to share, please raise your hand and I'll call on you to share. So I'm waiting for you. I can't see any hands up. I already said we are going to be talking a lot in this session. Any hand up? Anyone who wants to share? All right, Victoria, thank you. Please go ahead to share.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Victoria.
Yeah, so this quote, we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. It implies that every teacher is supposed to be growing or changing their teaching methods per time based on the needs of the children or the students that we have, based on the learners' needs. So if we keep working with what we have or what we've learned in previous times or what we've been using in previous times, the times are changing, and also the teaching methods are changing. Lots of things are changing. If we keep doing the same thing that we've been doing in time past, we'll be robbing the learners or the students of what they ought to learn, of the growth that they ought to receive on their own end, and then to affect their future as well. So that's just it.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Victoria, for sharing. That's powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that reflection. So is there any other hand up? Anybody else who wants to share? Anybody else who wants to share? Kola Koshukura, please go ahead. You can share.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Kola Koshukura.
Okay. To me, the interpretation of this quote is as simple as the world we have today is different from the world we used to have. Everything is evolving. So as educators, we have to keep evolving with the world. So we can get to give the learners, the children, what they ought to have, so that we will not be stale educators. And at the end of the day, these children don't have to give what the world requires of them in future. So that's it.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. That's equally powerful as well. The world is evolving, right? So we need to evolve our teaching as well. We need to evolve our instructions. We need to evolve the instructional core. We need to evolve the elements that make up the learning triangle. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's very helpful, very powerful, very insightful. I want to give one more person a chance to share. So please, if you like to share what this quote means to you, please just, hey, yeah, thank you. So sorry, I had to greet someone. So if you want to share what this quote means to you, please just signify. All right, I have Blessing here. Blessing, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. For me,
good afternoon, Blessing.
The quote means that as educators, we should be flexible enough to learn. We shouldn't be adamant. We shouldn't always feel like we already know it all. The method we used yesterday could still serve for a very long time. No. As educators, be open to learn, because the more you learn, the more you keep updating yourself. You don't become an old-time teacher and get the children make the children get bored, like they're not learning and improving themselves. Because as teachers, you need to teach and ensure the children understand and improve themselves in whatever method they want to. So as teachers, we need to be open to learn new things and not just be fixed on just one method all through. That is what I feel the quote is all about. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Blessing, for sharing. Sincerely, I appreciate this. Thank you so much for sharing. Wow. So this is all very powerful, and I really appreciate everybody who has shared their thoughts on what this quote means. Okay, I'm trying to look at the chat box as well. Okay, these are just introductions. Samson Ishaku from TFN Ogun State, welcome. Okay, Victoria. Very powerful stuff about this quote. And I agree with every single thing that's been mentioned by everyone. And I'm sure everyone as well agrees, with that, with those thoughts. Thank you so much for sharing. So let's go ahead. Looks like we have aligning thoughts on this. All right, good. So we are going to be doing a Menti activity right now. So what a Menti, I'm sure some of us know what a Menti is. That's Mentimeter is a platform where you can definitely do quizzes and all of this thing. So I would like us to open our web browser, and I can be on your mobile phone or your computer, and visit menti.com. So when you visit menti.com, it will give you a space to enter a code. You enter the code 7634596. So I'll be waiting for 2 minutes. But please, when you get to that page, don't answer the question yet. There's just one question there. Don't answer it yet until I ask you to answer. But go to Menti right now, menti.com, and use the code 7634596. You can also use your camera to view the barcode on the screen, and then it will take you to that page. However, if you don't want to do that and you want to go through your browser, just go to www.menti.com and use the code 7634596. 596. And then please just wait on that page. Don't do anything. Just enter the code. Don't answer the question yet. And I will tell you to answer the question when it is time. So I'm waiting for people for the next 2 minutes or for the next 1 minute, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Please go ahead and then open the Menti page. And I'll be back here to tell you when to answer the question. If you have any difficulty in doing that, please say it in the chat box and I'm happy to provide support. All right, please, if you are on the page already, can you just let me know? If you're on the page, you can just maybe give me a thumbs up in the chat box or give me a reaction thumbs up, or let me know. You can unmute yourself to tell me that, yes, you're already on the page. Or I can see thumbs up from Blessing.
Yes, I'm actually on the page.
Okay, Folashade, thank you so much. Right there, Victoria Amuson is there already. Okay. So any other, okay, Adele B is there already. All right, good. So I'm going to be, let me check. So let me see more thumbs. Ayola, all right, I hope, yeah, I can see you raise your hand. I think I'm thinking that that's a thumbs up already. Well, Ayofele Dumari, thank you so much. All right, guys, let's do this. I see Kolako Shukura as well. All right, good. So let me go and share the screen where the Mentimeter is. And so when I tell you to answer the question, then you can answer the question. All right, so the question says, in one word, tell us why you are working in education. In one word, tell us why you're working in education. All right, you can go ahead to start answering the question. Let's see your thoughts pop up. All right, I can see transformation pop up. Wow. This person is in education, working in education because of transformation. Can we see other thoughts pop up? Is the only one person that has answered the question? Or you guys are thinking of that one word? It's so hard to choose one word, I know, right? Value, value, very powerful, very powerful. Good to see that, value. Great, great, great. I can see impact, impact, passion, wow. Leadership, change, amazing, impartation, great, great. These are change making, amazing. Can I get more words? I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know we are more than 8 on this call. So please go ahead to tell us more words that actually captures the reason why you are working in education. Legacy, legacy, legacy. Amazing, amazing. These are very powerful words, very, very powerful words. And, you know, one thing I'm sure of is that as, you know, you begin to, okay, I see Ayodeji in the chat box said growth. Thank you so much for sharing in the chat box. I'm sure if we get a sit down to take this word one by one and then try to break it down, there are a lot of things inside this word. Like, it is very loaded. These words are very, very, very loaded, right? Very, very loaded. I can see development coming up right now. Development, yes. I'm in education for development. I'm in education for leadership. I'm in education for passion. I'm in education for impact. I'm in education for legacy, for impartation, for value, for transformation, right? That's so good. And that's to let me know that everyone on this call, at least everyone who has responded to this question, actually in education for the right reasons, because these are right reasons that, you know, for people to work in education. right? So thank you so much for sharing. But interestingly, I've not seen someone mention money. Is there no money in education? Is there no money in education? Anybody wants to answer that question on a lighter
It's
note?
not because of money. We actually, if you have a passion for something, money should not be your first priority. Your first priority should be actually be granted first before money comes in. And that is why most
Great.
people that have passion for teaching, sometimes you don't even get paid for what you actually give it. So that is just the truth.
Right.
So money is not.
Thank you very much. Yes, well, thank you so much for sharing that. So money is not like when you have passion for something, passion should take you that passion should be enough and not money. And I can see in the chat box, people are saying there's no money in education. No, the money is not much far. So that's not the focus. Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, I think that's a very big, wide belief that we all have, that there's no money in education. Well, I'm not saying anything about that because that's not our focus of discussion today. Probably we'll have another masterclass to say, is there money in education? And then we get everybody together to discuss if there's money in education. And people who say there's money, they will show us where the money is, right? So that we can all go make the money from education. But thank you so much for sharing this powerful words. It's just really, really good and interesting to see that. I mean, we all have big purposes and big reasons why we're working in education. So let's go back to our session slides. All right, good. The reason why we did this activity is because for you to grow in something, you need to understand the purpose of that thing. You cannot grow in something that you do not understand the purpose for it. You cannot grow in something that you do not have a sense of purpose in, right? Because things you don't have sense of purpose in, you do it lackadaisically, or you do it because you're forced to do it. However, if you possess a strong purpose in a particular thing, then you are able to create your growth trajectory in it. So this activity is very important for all of us to go through, so that we can definitely know that there is a reason why we're working in education. I mean, we mentioned transformation, we mentioned change, we mentioned leadership, we mentioned development, we mentioned impact, we mentioned value. These are big words that we have mentioned. These are big words of things that we really want to see, as we, things that we've mentioned as our purpose of working in education. And we know that for us to be able to make transformational impact or deliver value to our students or the school community and the parents that we work with, then we need to invest heavily in our growth. Most of the things that we mentioned as our purpose for working in education are things that we cannot deliver on if we don't grow to a certain extent. And that is why growth is very important as educators, that we take as paramount, and that's very, very important. Like, we need to take it very important and very dear to our heart and put it at the core of the work that we do as educators. And which is the reason why we are having this discussion today. So let's move ahead. There's a video we're going to be watching now. So I'll just quickly play the video and then we just, so please
when I began my
confirm
first year
that you can hear the sound.
I thought
Can you hear the sound, please? Oh, okay. Is that you can hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay. All right. You can hear the sound. All right, good. So I'm going to start the video all over again, and then we watch it in full. Let me make it full screen. Great.
When I began my first year as a teacher, I thought I had the bulk of what I needed to be successful. I thought that this is what college was for, and all of those education classes on pedagogy and classroom management and educational theory were about to pay off. Student teaching was a way to sharpen that sword that I'd forged in school, and in my first year as a teacher, I'd be ready to wield it in the classroom. And then my first year as a teacher actually happened. Suddenly, Lev Vygotsky's educational theory was not helping me deal with a student who told me to f*** off. That lesson plan I designed for my college class that was supposed to get my students to stand on their desks like the ones in the Dead Poets Society did fell as flat as my face in my pillow each night after a day in the classroom. In my first year, I felt beaten down by parents, administrators, students, and more than anything else, by myself. I learned that teaching is way too complex to simply master after a few years in college and from well-intentioned textbooks. Looking back at the first few years in the classroom, much of it felt like a train wreck. Of course, there were wins sprinkled throughout, but much of those first couple years were in the trenches, dealing with conflict after conflict. There was no separation between work and my personal life, and I often carried the weight of my students' lives home with me each day. I was constantly buried in papers to grade, and lessons to plan, and emails to respond to. I didn't know how to quiet a classroom or teach a grammar lesson, or even how to keep my classroom organized. But then something happened around year 3. About halfway through my 3rd year in the classroom, I started to finally find a groove. I began to regularly meet with a veteran teacher who taught me this trick about how to get your class's attention without raising your voice. Those notes I'd taken when activities failed came in handy as I revised them, and I started seeing students truly engage. I stopped dreading parent-teacher conferences as I learned how to use them as highly effective ways to get parents on board with what I was doing in the classroom. And after a few years of working down in the trenches, I was starting to really grow as a teacher. Every year of teaching has taught me new ways to become a better one. Sometimes I learned tricks from other educators who graciously shared their secrets of the trade. Other times I obtained them from teacher books and professional development. But most of what I've learned has come from experience. I'm talking about failed lessons and heartbreaking moments and shining victories and simply time, which has all given me the most wisdom to use in the classroom. This is why my teacher friend, who's been in this profession for over 40 years, approaches her work with grace and confidence that I can't comprehend even now. She spent the past 4 decades refining her craft and humbly trying to grow every single year. It is through challenges that we grow. So if you are a young teacher and you feel like it's taking everything you have to keep your head above water, know that there was a long line of people who came before you who have experienced the exact same thing. Take heart knowing that wisdom comes from experience much more than textbooks. And the more experiences you have, the wiser you will become. That's just the way it works. And if you're a teacher who's been doing this a while and you feel stuck, like you aren't growing anymore, like the fire and passion has waned, perhaps you need this reminder. You aren't alone in that either. Life is full of peaks and valleys are often hard to be in. We want to always be in the summit where the air is clear and the view is beautiful. However, growth happens down in the valley. Realize the undeniable fact that the greatest wisdom and strength comes through challenges. Sometimes it's about developing this mindset that recognizes that. Not that a growth mindset will instantly make your challenges disappear, but it will help you overcome them. And when that happens, you will be a better teacher.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Guys, what do you think about that video? I just want 2 people to share.
Actually,
Sorry.
from that video alone, I actually learned some few things and I think I've not even had in a long time.
I'm sorry. I think your sound is muffled up a bit, Miss Folashade.
Hear me now.
So okay, we can hear you. All right. So it's just in 1 minute. Let's just share what we got from that video in 1 minute. Yes, thank you.
The video is actually is an open hand for us to actually being a teacher. You know, sometimes you actually feel overwhelmed. Why am I still teaching? Why am I into the teaching profession? I'm not even growing. That is actually about wisdom. Actually, come from experience. We should not just give up. We should learn from our experience, and we can actually go from it. That is what the video is all about.
Thank you very much, Ms. Folashade. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, I have Oluwatobi Babatunde. Blessing, I'm not calling on you because you shared before, so let's have Oluwatobi Babatunde. There are still opportunities for us to share too. Oluwatobi Babatunde, can you go ahead, please? I see you.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, the video is just like, it's just art suiting, just like it suits the art right now.
Yeah.
So it's just like I know what you're going through, so don't bother to don't bother to give yourself headache about that.
Yeah.
It's normal. So I got to learn that it's a normal thing you have to go through if you want to grow in that line, except
Yeah.
we come to fish and then run off. So if we are not coming to fish and run off, we want to be the fisherman, like the name called, like fishing and keep fishing. So if we want to do that, then we have to get going, because it isn't a news anymore that it is challenging. So it is now part of us that everything, it's even good if it's challenging, because that will now bring the better part of us. Then we'll be able to think. But I remember when I was challenged with some students back then in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So I was like, I've been teaching now. Oh my goodness! I try instructional materials. I tried a whole lot of things just to make this student to see how much I'm putting in effort. And then not knowing that my principal was checking on me, he was seeing those vibes, so those trials of mine and all of that. Though it was frustrating. I was every day by day I would think again, what will I do? What will I do? Oh my God! So I'll just get to class and do something new, do something fascinating and all of that. Do you know, to my surprise, that very year I was awarded. I was like, what? Oh my goodness.
That's
I was awarded, yes.
congratulations.
I was awarded. So I was like,
Congratulations.
oh, thank you very much. So that means that trial was just to bring the better part of me. So since then I've been so much encouraged that, you this challenge, I'm gonna overcome you. So it's just
exactly.
They want to try us as the teachers, they want to, we should get angry. Let's try something. We should get angry. We should even smile. Let's try something. So those things should not push us back. It should just encourage us the more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for sharing. That's very helpful. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you so much, both of you who shared. So we'll just quickly go ahead because we have limited time. I don't want to keep anyone beyond the time that we have. Amoson Okoyemi shared here, that video was highly insightful. I learned to have a growth mindset towards teaching. Growth mindset in the sense that I should always look for the golden coin in every hurdles I face in the profession. It's not enough to get going, but to learn the right lessons in the process. That's very powerful. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, let's go ahead with our slides, and then we try to move ahead very fast. Okay, good. So we've seen the video, we've shared our thoughts. I think it's a beautiful video that should keep reminding us as educators who we are, what we do, and what the process is like, and how we can find little joys of learning in that process. All right, there's this big quote here that says, life as a teacher begins the day you realize you are a learner. I'm not going to ask us to reflect or share on this, but I want you all to just take that quote in for the next 20 seconds. I'm going to read it out again, and in the next 20 seconds, you just try to assimilate it. Life as a teacher begins the day you realize you are a learner. So the next 20 seconds, let's just take this in. All right, good. I hope you took that in very well. All right, good. Yes. So life as a teacher begins the day you realize you're a learner. So please take that in. That's very, very correct. Okay, good. So, we've talked about growth, and we've talked about, the experiences so far. However, there are two mindsets that we can have as educators. And these two mindsets, they are exclusive. So that means you can't have both of these mindsets together. You either have one and you don't have the other. That's how it works. So you either have a fixed mindset as an educator, or you have a growth mindset as an educator. So we are going to be learning what a fixed mindset is and what a growth mindset is. And we're going to be learning from a video that I have here. So what we are going to be doing is that we're going to be watching this video. When we finish watching this video, we will come back together to have a discussion in small breakout rooms about what we've watched in this video. Fixed mindset, growth mindset. As an educator, you have one of this. You have, like, there's no way you will not have one of it. So it's either you have a fixed mindset or you have a growth mindset. But let's go into that video and see what this means, right? So please, you will confirm if you can hear the sound of this video now.
There are two types of mindset we can cultivate. One that
Can you hear that?
Yes, sir.
Very well.
Okay,
Very
good.
well.
All right, good. All right, good. So I'll begin.
There are two types of mindset we can cultivate. There are two types of mindset we can cultivate. One that embraces problems as opportunities to learn, and one that avoids them, often out of fear to fail. People that avoid conflicts can be described as having a fixed mindset. Those who see problems as interesting challenges have a growth mindset. Sometimes we like to switch from one to the other. People have a fixed mindset because they believe that basic qualities like intelligence or talents are fixed traits, and that these traits are responsible for success. They often like to document past achievements. With a growth mindset, people believe that new abilities can be developed through practice. This view creates the love for learning that most great leaders and artists have in common. For them, life becomes an exciting journey with endless opportunity to figure out new things and advance. To develop a growth mindset, Dr. Carol Dweck, the Stanford University professor who coined the term, advises leaders, teachers and parents to celebrate trying. Teachers should applaud students for any grade if they studied hard. Parents should encourage their children to develop any new skill they are interested in. Doing this will make them learn the skill of learning, which will also help them back in the classroom. To illustrate the difference in everyday life, let's observe two imaginary kids. Jay thinks you've either got it or you haven't. Anne knows that she can learn anything if she wants it enough. At physical exercise, Jay avoids challenges. When it's time to jump over the vaulting horse, he's afraid to look stupid and be laughed at. Anne embraces any challenge. It's exciting, it's fun. She knows that failing is part of learning, and if she tries hard, at the end, nobody will laugh at her. Jay avoids feedback. If the teacher tells him how to improve an assignment he has been working on, he takes it personally. Anne knows that to improve, she needs to listen to constructive criticism. She also understands that it's not her that is being assessed, but the results of her work on that one day. Jay always takes the easy road. For example, he likes escalators and hates to take the stairs. When he is practicing the guitar, he stops the moment he's getting stuck. Anne usually doesn't even take escalators. She jumps up the stairs, counts every step in her head, and enjoys feeling the blood rushing through her veins. She practices the drums every morning for 15 minutes. Not that she always enjoys it, but she knows that effort is part of a journey to a more fun life. Anne likes to see others succeed. It inspires her. She knows that if she motivates her friends to get better, she herself is likely to grow too. If his friends try new things and succeed, Jay feels threatened. He's afraid that their success will put pressure on him to do more with his life too. Modern companies look for employees with a growth mindset because they solve problems and persist despite obstacles. To spot the right ones, some ask during the interview whether the job applicant believes if managers are born or if management is a skill learned. Jay thinks that managers are born. Anne gets the job. Neuroscientists support the idea. They confirm that the brain grows like any other muscle in the body, with training. Studies show that adopted twins tend to have higher intelligence compared to their siblings who stayed with their biological parents. The difference appears to come from the higher educational levels of adoptive parents and shows that nurture is more important than nature. A simple switch in how a person views a situation can mean the world of difference. Not just the outcome of that situation, the outcome of that person's place in life. As the late poet Samuel Beckett once said, "Ever tried? Ever failed? No matter. Try again. Fail again. Fail better." What do you think about the concept? Is it overly simplistic? And if you buy the idea, do you believe it is possible to make a permanent switch from a fixed to a growth mindset? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below.
Yeah, so of course, we are not sharing in the comment section below. We are sharing here, right? So that was a very short explainer about fixed mindset and growth mindset. But of course, to share here, and so that we can all have opportunities to share, we're going to be splitting into breakout rooms. And in this breakout rooms, what we are going to be discussing really is, there are two questions. First is, what are your general reflections on the meaning of fixed and growth mindsets, just as we have seen in this video? And then you now look at, in your work currently as an educator, how do you think that growth mindset can help you become better? I know they mentioned Jay and Anne, who are students, but put yourself in the shoes of Jay and Anne as educators that you are doing your work, and you have supervisors who are giving you feedback. So in your work currently as an educator, how do you think that growth mindset, we have growth associate program at Schoolinka, so it's getting into my head. How do you think that growth mindset can help you become better? And so we have this discussion for the next 10 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes thereabout, and then we come back and one representative per room will share a short summary of the discussions that had gone on in that room. So I'm going to be splitting us all into breakout. I'm not sure we have that here. Wow. Oh, so we didn't enable breakout rooms. All right, so nothing has spoiled. We'll have the discussion here then. So, of course, in the next 10 minutes, we'll be discussing this. What are general reflections on the meaning of fixed and growth mindset? And in your work currently, how do you think that growth mindset can help you become better? Please, if you're sharing, just in 1 minute, please. So if you would like to share, kindly raise up your hand. Blessing, I've been seeing your hand up. I'm not sure it's for the other time or for this time. Okay, I'm not sure Blessing can hear me. Salam Ismail, can you go ahead to share, please? Just in 1 minute. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, great educator. Yes. Sorry, just in 1 minute, I will just give a scenario of what is currently happening in Nigeria. Some people believe if they can't leave the country, they can't make it. That is a fixed mindset. I have to believe that I am not going anywhere and I am making it right. I told you I'm an online instructor. I have students all over the world. I have students from the UK, from Canada. I am not going anywhere. I'm making career as an educator. So that is a growth mindset. So I don't have a fixed mindset that if I don't leave the country, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to make it right here in the country. We are not living anywhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Salam Ismail. I know we mentioned at some point, everyone, that we're talking about whether there's money in education. Please, this Salam Ismail is one that will show us where the money is. Right? He already said he's making it in Nigeria. So guys, connect with him and then learn from him on how you can make money in Nigeria. There's money in education. No, Salam Ismail has told us. But yeah, that's on a lighter note. Thank you so much, Salam Ismail, for sharing that. Very helpful, an example of growth mindset.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Folashade Adebao, please, if you want to share, please raise up your hand in 1 minute, please. Folashade Adebao, you can go ahead to share.
Okay, thank you, Sean, for this great opportunity. Yeah, like I said, one thing I actually learned about this thing, for us to be in the growth mindset, we have to fail to grow. Sometimes at the beginning of my teaching life, I noticed when I actually work with that teacher, I was not actually good in writing report card writing. Each time I actually keep writing it, keep striking it out, you can actually be better. And at a particular time, I think 2013, I was the best teacher. So I asked myself that you can actually change from old to be good. That is if you want to change, depending on your mindset. If you don't make up your mind to change, you keep doing it the way they've been doing it. And that is what most schools actually lack. That is how we've been doing it. We don't want to adopt new adoption. the world is going to the 21st century, and if it still remain in the old century, our school won't grow, and we ourselves won't grow. So if the school you're working with is not growing, then you should be determined to grow yourself personally.
Thank you. That's powerful, right? Mindset of change. Change is very important for us to grow. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. Blessing, the floor is yours.
Thank you for this opportunity. Actually, it's been fun in this class. A fixed mindset sees difficulties as barrier and scared to scale through, while a growth mindset sees it as opportunity to learn new things.
Yeah.
And sees it as, oh, it's fun. It's fun to learn new things. So that's the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Blessing. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you very much for defining growth and fixed mindset for us. Ayodeji, can you go ahead, please?
Yes, good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon. So we can't hear you anymore, Ayodeji. Can you hear us?
Naturally, some naturally. Can you hear me now?
Oh,
hello.
Well, it's breaking.
Can you hear me now?
It's breaking. We can hear you now. Can you try again now?
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead, please.
All right. So I was saying that someone that has a growth mindset, for that person, and resilience becomes natural. It comes naturally, right? So obstacles, roadblocks, falls is as a bus stop, the destination. Like, you're not giving up, right? But for somebody that has fixed mindset on the opposite side, the opposite is the same. Is the case. I'm the Bible, so that's it. And for the second one, talking about for me as an educator right now, I think in my second year, really, majorly, I just get to view my students, for me, get to view every one of them differently and engage them for a massive academic performance in the coming academic year. All right. So because we're having new intake SS1, and I'm looking at it that those ones that are coming in, I'm not going to be looking at them as the ones that have come in before. These are new people. So I have a level of freshness and new perspective to kind of relate with for a better relationship. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ayodeji, for sharing. Thank you so much. Even if your audio was breaking a bit, but at least we're able to get keyword from what you shared. Thank you so much. Kolakwa Shukura, please go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon once again, everyone. So I'll be going straight to the second question, that in what way would growth mindset help me become better? Since we have clarity on what growth mindset and fixed mindsets are, this growth mindset would help me realize that feeling that I have not done enough as a mass educator, as a teacher, is not bad. Feeling that I have not done well enough is not bad. But then to say that, oh, this is the end, this is the best I can do, this is all of me, is what is wrong. To say that I can't become better, to say that I can't do well again, to say that I can't do more for my students is what is wrong. Then growth mindset will now help me go back to my drawing board and say, oh, what have I been doing before? How have I been doing? What needs to change?
I think there's a background sound. Oh, Adenopo at gmail.com. Please, can you mute yourself? I've been trying to mute you, but I can't. I don't know why, but please, can you mute yourself? Or I'll just, because I feel like that there's a background sound coming from there. You can go ahead.
Okay, so to say that this is the best I can give, this is all I can do, there is nothing else I can do to change the narrative, is what is wrong. So now I'll go back to my drawing board and say, these are the set of students I have. this is what I want to give to them. How better can I do it? So this is what.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Shukra, for sharing. All right, we have Adeyinka, and then we wrap up the discussion and sharing. Adeyinka, you can go ahead, please. Your voice is low. Can you speak up a bit?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I want to just talk about the second one that says in your work currently, how do you think growth mindset can help you become better? As an educator.
Sorry, Adeyinka, please, your voice is really low, or is it only from my end? Can everyone hear her clearly? Because the voice is really low.
As an educator, you don't go to the classroom thinking that what you have prepared as a note of lesson is actually a complete one. You should go to the classroom having the mindset that your students or the person you are going to be teaching can actually give you more than what you have actually written down as a note. So you should be open for learning. Don't think you as a teacher is all in all. You are the god of the class. Those students have so many things deposited inside of them. So you should always go to the class with the mind that you're going to learn, not to teach. With that, you can actually do well. So I think that's just my own view about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. This has been really helpful and interesting and insightful. In the chat box, I see Victoria shared a fixed mindset sees challenges as a roadblock, but the growth mindset sees challenges as a learning process that can convert roadblocks to stepping stones for greatness. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, good. This has been a very insightful discussion, and I hope we've learned from that discussion how people are talking about growth mindset and how they can use growth mindsets in their school and how they think currently that they think is actually as a result of the growth mindset that they have. All right, so I'm going to be sharing these key strategies for owning your own growth as an educator. Right? The video we watched talked about, seeing challenges as opportunities to learn instead of seeing challenges as a definition of who we are, right? Mr. Denga, please, can you mute yourself? Okay, right, that's muted. Thank you very much. So instead of seeing challenges as stumbling blocks or seeing challenges as things that, stop us from achieving what we are meant to achieve, right? So instead of seeing challenges as roadblocks, we see them as stepping stones. But as educators, in order for us to own our growth, right, there are things that we need to put in place. You can't just mention growth without actually putting in systems to, aid your own growth as an educator. I have 4 strategies here that I feel like if you embark on it right now, in the next 3 months, you'll be able to see how far you must have grown. The first is read. There's one quote that I mentioned the other time that says, life as a teacher begins the day you realize you are a learner. It's the same thing here. You need to read widely as an educator. You don't need to allow things to happen to you or things to just come to you by happenstance or by, all of a sudden. Someone will say as an educator, you need to have a little idea about everything, right? So you need to read widely. So as an educator, for you to be able to own your growth and see yourself growing, actually, you need to read. And one way you can do that is probably joining a professional scholarly journal. You can go online and read educational blogs or read some literature on education. We used to say knowledge is power. Knowledge is actually very powerful. So as educators, you need to be able to own your growth by reading widely. I meet some educators at times, and when I ask them, oh, what book have you read this? And they'll be like, whoa, I don't read books. And I'm like, you can't be an educator and you don't read books. Trust me, for people like us, it's very hard to read. Like, I find it very difficult to read, very challenging to read. But as educators, we have no choice but to read. And the internet has made it very easy these days. You can go online, read educational blogs, and then have access to quality reading materials that can help you and can nourish you. Another point is participate. So as an educator, for you to own your growth, you need to learn how to be part of professional communities of educators where you can meet with other educators who are passionate about their growth and share ideas with them. For example, we've had a beautiful conversation this afternoon here at Schoolinka. This is a professional community which you can be a part of, right? So when you're a part of communities like Schoolinka's community, you're able to meet other educators like you who are passionate about their growth, have discussions like this, and be able to share the strategies within one another and then grow together as a professional body. There's power in numbers. I used to share something whenever I speak, I'm invited to speak. And I say, this is a decade of communities. Right? If you go alone in this season that we are right now, in this time that we are right now, you won't go too far. It's not a curse. It's just the way the world is designed right now. 50 years ago, 100 years ago, people can start things on their own and then they shine through. But the moment we are right now as human beings in this world, just as things are evolving, is that right now we're actually the decade of communities. And so you need to be part of communities of like-minded people, educators who are serious about their own growth, where you can share ideas with one another. Another is self-reflection, very, very important. And it's so bad that we have a lot of educators who don't know what self-reflection is, and they don't even engage in it. I ask educators, after you teach in a school day, what do you do when you get home? What are the questions you ask yourself? Do you even try to think about what went on during that day from the morning till afternoon when you close? Or you just get home, close your book, eat, sleep, and wake up the next day and come to class? If that's the way you are been engaging yourself as an educator, then you need to change. Self-reflection is very important as an educator. You reflect on your experiences. You reflect on the new ideas that you implement in the classroom. You reflect on your students. You reflect on everything. In the moment of reflection, what happens is the fact that you are learning. Most times educators make mistakes and then they come back to make worse mistakes. That's not how it's meant to be for educators. You're supposed to learn from your mistakes so that you can do things better in the future. But you can't learn from your mistakes if you are not reflecting. So reflect upon your new ideas and consider what you learned from the process. And ideally, your reflection should focus less on whether the idea was a success or a failure. That's not your goal. That's not the reason why you are reflecting. You're not reflecting because, it was a successful procedure that I engaged in today. Or no, it failed woefully. No. Because if you're thinking of success or failure, remember, that is a fixed mindset, because you're defining yourself by your abilities and by your talent and skills. But when you reflect on what you learned from the process, what you have done is to engage in a growth mindset. And the moment you're able to reflect on the process and the learnings, what you're doing is that you are growing yourself, you're growing your skills and becoming better as an educator. So take self-reflection as very, very important. The last is professional development, very key, like we're doing right now. You need to learn how to attend educational conferences and workshops, attend webinars, just like we're having right now, and take online courses. Schoolinka has an online learning platform that you can be a part of, and then you can take online courses, powerful, highly engaging online courses. Some of the people who have taken the online courses are on this call today. Participation in this type of professional development will make you a more effective educator. If you do these 4 things over the next 6 months, trust me, when we have a conversation again, you will be telling me how much you have grown as an educator. And this is not just me trying to make this sound interesting to you. No, it is me trying to tell you this is what I have worked with educators on. I've been able to provide support to them for over 6 months, and they come back to tell me how much of the results they have achieved over the last 6 months, going through these 4 key strategies: reading, participating in professional communities, self-reflection on your daily activities, professional development. If you engage in this 4, then trust me, you're already owning your growth as an educator. And then before you know, you're becoming highly effective. Before you know, you're becoming more competent. Before you know it, you're already a thought leader in the education space. And you can stand and speak as an expert. Because one thing you've done is that you've accumulated knowledge, you've acquired skills, you have built networks and relationships, and you have become more self-aware by your self-reflection. And then through self-awareness, you are also to self-motivate yourself. if you look at those 4 key strategies, there's a part where you're leading yourself as a being, as an educator. And there's a part where you're leading with others, collaboration with other people, right? And there's a part where you are also giving out and sharing. So these are key strategies that I will implore you all to keep in your arsenal, right? As you are going about owning your growth as an educator. And then we can come back and talk about this later on to have conversation about this and see how much you must have grown. So, and this, brings me to this last slide, which I said I was going to mention before. This is a big statistics by UNESCO. It says 35% of teachers are not trained in Africa. This is a big issue. What this means is the fact that out of 100 teachers in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole, 35 of them are not competent enough to stand in front of the kids in the classroom and deliver learning. Now imagine the ripple effect. These 35 teachers will have on the average 50 students in their classroom. Now imagine 50 students in 35 classrooms are not able to access quality learning because their educators are not growing in their capacity to deliver. And the work we're doing at Schoolinka is to change this narrative. That is why we're doing the work that we're doing. That's why we're having the sessions with educators. We have another masterclass coming up next week. We have another one in September. And we'll keep having more of those masterclasses. We have online courses that you can take on our platform because we want to change this narrative. And we can't change this narrative if you are not ready to change this narrative. So we want you to be part of this movement to actually change the narrative and help us, help yourself. Let's work together to reduce this number drastically of teachers who are not trained in Africa. And one of the ways you can do that, or one of the ways you can do that, or one of the biggest ways you can do that is to own your own growth as an educator. When you own your own growth, you are able to help other people grow as well. And then before you know it, we have these numbers closing out. So owning your growth as an educator is not only for yourself, but also for the students you work with, their families, the school community, and other educators like you, and for the education sector as a whole. There's a rising of thought leaders in education, and it is only educators who have owned their growth that can be part of this league of thought leaders. I'm going to go back to this slide. Strategies for owning your growth. Read. Participate in communities of educators. Self-reflect every day. Make it a daily practice. Develop yourself professionally. And that brings me to the end of the session. I hope you've had a wonderful time in the session. Let me stop sharing and see if you have questions for me. And if you have comments as well, I'll be happy to hear that. I think I see your hand up. Is that for a question or for a comment? All right, so do we have questions? If you have questions or comment, please raise up your hand. So I'm going to stop recording now.